Good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to discuss about dengue fever. So, what is the objective of today classes? Understand the clinical features of dengue, classification of dengue, laboratory diagnosis, and management of dengue. So, dengue is a very common life-threatening arboviral infection, common in tropical and subtropical region like India, transmitted by Aedes genes of mosquito. Thus, 4 antigenically distinct dengue virus serotype. Among them, type 2 will cause serious type of dengue infections. So, epidemiology, per year we have 5 crore dengue infection. Among 5 crore, only 5 lakh people are hospitalized per year. Among 100 infected patients hospitalized, mostly 90% children are less than 5 years. 12,500 deaths per year, 2 to 3 out of 100 hospitalized patients are death mortality. In India, people all know dengue is a hyperendemic condition. So, etiology, we already see dengue have 4 serotypes 1, 2, 3, 4. Among type 2, dengue virus will cause more severe disease. It's RNA virus, flavivirus genes, flavivirate family. So, name other virus belongs to the flavivirate gene or flavivirate family. You all know the common one, yellow fever virus, West Nile virus, Japanese encephalitis virus, Zika virus. So, what is the culprit of dengue fever? Aedes aegypti. When does it bites? It's very, very important. Again, they will call this Aedes mosquitoes fearless mosquitoes. So, typically it bite during the day, particularly in the early morning and late evening times. That's why it's called as a fearless mosquitoes. So, few common breeding places, sites of Aedes aegypti. These are the common breeding. Stagnant water, clean and stagnant water. Important breeding place for this Aedes mosquitoes. So now we are moving into WHO dengue classification. 1997, based on the dengue case, they defined as dengue fever, dengue hemorrhagic fever, dengue suction. But recently they have changed it. If anyone asks what is the classification of dengue fever, don't tell dengue fever, dengue hemorrhagic, and dengue shock syndrome. This one is the old classification. Why they have changed? There is a limitation of this classification. The terms of complexity and applicability. So in 2009 itself, they have changed. WHO changed the classification of dengue fever in 2009. So based on the severity, it's divided into 3: dengue without warning sign, dengue with warning sign, and severe dengue. Clear? The recent classification. Recent WHO classification is dengue without warning sign, dengue with warning sign, and severe dengue. The different studies found that the revised classification useful is more sensitive than previous classification done in 1997 for timely recognition of the disease. To timely recognition of the dengue disease, this classification will be more sensitive than old one. High potential for facilitating dengue cases management and surveillance. These are the two advantages. Various studies found it for the new WHO classification. So what is the new WHO classification? Dengue with warning sign, dengue without warning sign, and severe dengue. Okay. So dengue fever without warning sign. What is the criteria to diagnose dengue fever without warning sign? The child should have fever and 2 of the followings. Among 5, you need 2 plus fever. 1 is aches and pains, 2 is nausea or vomiting, 3 is rashes, 4 is positive tourniquet test, 5th is leukopenia. Among 5, we need to diagnose dengue without warning sign is we need 2 criteria along with fever. Okay, then dengue with warning sign. So dengue as defined above, the previous one, fever plus the 2 criteria among the 5, like aches and pains, nausea and vomiting, rash, positive tourniquet test, leukopenia. It's defined as a dengue. With any of the following signs, with warning signs, so we can call it as dengue with warning sign. Simply they can give some flaviviridae family, right? So flavivirus. So we can take as a flavi as a name. Mnemonic of this warning sign. To remember, we can use flavi. F for fluid accumulation, clinically like ascites and pleural effusion. L, we have liver enlargement, hepatomegaly, and lethargy. And one more L will be lab. So what are the lab finding? High hematocrit or low platelet. So high hematocrit and low platelet coming under warning signs of dengue. And A, stomach pain or tenderness. We will be vomiting. Particular vomiting, persistent vomiting. And I will be insignificant bleeding like mucosal bleeding. So these are the 7 warning signs of dengue fever. So what is the criteria to diagnose dengue with warning sign? We have to define dengue plus any one of following 7 signs. If it present, we can call it as a dengue with warning sign. So same thing. Clear? So what warning signs are abdomen pain or tenderness, persistent vomiting, clinical fluid accumulation like ascites, pleural effusion, mucosal bleed, gum bleed, lethargy or restlessness, liver enlargement more than 2 cm. Then lab finding. What are the lab finding? Increase in hematocrit with rapid decrease in platelet count. Then the last one in classification will be severe dengue. So severe dengue means dengue with at least one of the following. Severe plasma leakage leading to shock or fluid accumulation leading to or associated with respiratory distress. 2. Severe bleeding as evidenced by doctor. 3. Severe organ involvement like if liver mean AST or ALT more than 1000, CNS mean impaired consciousness, or heart and other organ dysfunction. So among 3, we should have only 1 with, we can call it as a severe dengue. Clear? The insignificant bleed, the mucosal bleed coming under dengue with warning sign. Here, severe bleeding as evidenced by a doctor. It's coming under severe dengue. Clear? So this is the pictorial representation of what we discussed previously. So we have 3 classification: dengue with or without warning signs, severe dengue. We already seen what are the criteria for diagnosing dengue without warning sign, with warning sign, and severe dengue. So next we are going to see one case scenarios. So you people are going to identify or classify based on the history. You people are going to classify which category of or which classification the next is the patient going to fit in. Yeah, this is a case history. A 13-year-old girl presented with 5-day history of high-grade fever. So she also reports severe retroorbital pain, bone and joint pain, nausea, constipation, and upper abdomen pain. She has vomited 5 times. She feels dizzy as if she was going to faint when she tries to get up. She passed urine only twice on previous day. On examination, she is febrile, looks ill and dehydrated. The rufuliform rashes with dusky red blotches and petechiae in her limbs. Her hands and feet are cold to touch and have to the bluish tint. Capillary filling time more than 3 seconds. Respiratory rate is 42 minutes per minute. Pulse rate is 108 per minute, beats per minute. Supine blood pressure is 90/60 with partial drop of 30 mm mercury. Her abdomen is mildly distended. The epigastric is dented to palpation, and there is a flank dullness. Based on the above scenario, what is the WHO classification? And you should say why. So, what is the case definition for dengue fever? Fever and 2 of the following: aches and pain, nausea, rash, positive tourniquet test, leukopenia. So, in this case, child is presented with 5-day fever. Yes. For other 2 things, we need pain. This child presented with severe retroorbital pain, bone pain, joint pain. Yes. So aches and pains will fill. Then, yeah, child presented with nausea followed by 5 times vomiting. Yes. So we have 2 criteria: fever plus 2 criteria to diagnose the dengue. This child also have rufuliform rash. So this child, what this child having? Fever plus aches, vomiting, and rash. So this child fitting into dengue. The case definition of dengue. Yeah. So in this case, child presented with fever with following 3. Then signs of shock. The child presented with signs of shock: cold peripheries, CFTs, long tachypnea, hypotension, and fluid accumulation. So this child coming under what WHO classification? Severe dengue. Clear? So next, we are moving into clinical manifestations of dengue fever. Dengue fever is a multi-system disease, wide variety of clinical spectrum. Incubation period usually 4 to 10 days. Illness begins abruptly following by your incubation period. So based on the clinical manifestation, they are dividing into 3 phases. So like our WHO classification is 3. Now the clinical phase also they are divided into 3 phases. One is febrile phases, critical phases, and recovery phases. So what we are going to see about what are the common clinical features and what are the common complications we are expecting in various phases, and based on this we are going to treat how to treat the dengue child. Yeah. So the natural cause of dengue fever will be febrile phase, critical phase, and convalescent phase. So in febrile phase, high grade fever will be there, lasting to 2 to 7 days. Fever associated with retroabdominal pain, rash, arthralgia, facial flushing, headache, vomiting, petechiae, complete epistaxis. Next is critical phase. It usually occurs days 3 to 6 days of illness. Last only 24 to 48 hours. This is very, very, very important phase during our management. In this critical phase, the first thing will be fever should subside, then followed by capillary and dangerous syndrome. In critical phase, the WBC count will be progressively decreased, the leukopenia, then hematocrit progressively increasing. This, along with decreasing platelet, it leads to plasma leakage. This plasma leakage leads to shock, pleural effusion, and clinical fluid accumulation like ascites and pleural. Why this phase is very, very important? Yes. Most of our areas in India, the village side, mostly quack people are treating the patients. So what they will do, they will treat the fever. Once fever subsided, they send the patient to home. They don't know about the critical phase. 2-3 years back, we have lost 2 to 3 children due to this kind of practitioner. They, after fever subsiding, they sent to home. But that 40 years is very, 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 very difficult management of dengue fever. So these, if you treat the critical phase properly, most of children survives. So prolongation of this shock leads to DIC, which leads to severe hemorrhage. Once severe hemorrhage, hematocrit fall. Usually, if what type of severe bleeding will be occurs in dengue, usually GI bleeding. This bleeding will lead to organ hyperperfusion. It will involve all organ, hepatitis, myocarditis, and enzyme. Then third phase, recovery phase. After the 24 to 48 hours of critical phase, whatever the fluid leak, the third phase loss due to dengue fever, plasma leakage, started to reabsorb. So reabsorption of fluid from the extravascular component. So once the child well treated, well supported by fluid therapy in critical phase, recovery phase, is cautious to give the fluids because whatever fluid leak from our extravascular compartment going to be absorbed. If you give the same or high amount of fluid therapy, supportive therapy in recovery phase, so child more prone to develop pulmonary edema. The commonest cause of death during hospitalization will be fluid overload due to the pulmonary edema, due to the fluid therapy. So, depends upon the phase, we are expecting some complication, and we should treat cutting. That is very, very, very important in dengue fever management. So, in recovery phase, reabsorption fluid will be happens. So, general drain will improve, appetite will be normal, and urine output becomes normal. Child hemodynamics is stabilized. So, generalized uritis will also improve. So, now we are going to see about key symptoms. How to present dengue fever. So, fever. So, fever will be abrupt onset, rising 39.5 to 41.4 degrees Celsius. Usually associated with severe retroabdominal pain and chillness. last 5 to 7. Usually, end of the 5th day, fever will be subside. And one more thing you should remember: this dengue fever will be 5-phasic fever. What do you mean by 5-phasic? The first 5 days fever will be there, then afebrile period for 2 to 3 days, followed by one more second spike of fever. But the second spike, the temperature not so high like our first phase of fever. Then bone pains. So, what is the another name for dengue fever? Breakthrough fever. Fear bone pain. So, this bone pain will occur after onset of fever, may last several weeks, decrease in severity, commonly occur in legs, joints, and lumbar spine associated with muscular or joint pains. Then rash. There are two rash again. The first rash and second rash. The first rash will occur first 1 to 2 days of fever. It will be a transient. It will be generalized. This is macular rash with branching. But this first rash will be transient. The second rash will be occurs during 3 to 6 days of illness. Usually, maculopapular or morphular forms of rash, so rubella type of rash, involving trunk first, then it fits into the face and extremity. But it's sparing of palm and cells. So, do you people know what are the common diagnosis of fever with rash? Depends upon the day of fever, a day of onset of rash. There is a mnemonic for that also. Depends upon the day and onset of rash. We can easily diagnose the few of our infections. Anybody knows? There is a mnemonic also. What is the mnemonic? Very sick patients must to take double A. So, day 1 is very significant. Fever, day 1 fever with rash, chickenpox. Day 2 with rash, scarlet fever, very sick. Day 3, pox. Day 4, must, measles. Day 5, Day 5, anyone? Day double A. So T for typhus fever, scruff typhus, typhus fever. Day 6 will be dengue. Day 7 will be Enric fever. So depends upon the day of fever or onset of rash, particular day of fever, we can easily diagnose. So dengue usually occurs on 6th day of illness. So these are the typical dengue rash. So they will give one nice, the recovery rash, they will give one nice terminology. The background will be red, okay, and the whitish lesion. So they will say, or they will describe this recovery rash will be island of white in a sea of red. So this is the common terminology they will use. The island of red. So island of white in the sea of red. Okay. Recovery rash, dengue. Then hemorrhage, skin hemorrhage, petechiae purpura, gingival bleeding, nasal bleeding, GI bleeding, hematemesis, hematuria. These are the hemorrhagic occurs in dengue fever. So this is a typical graph to show the clinical feature, onset of fever, other things. So this will show day of illness and temperature abruptly increase, and the day 5 mostly will be subsided and will be post. Here the clinical manifestation. This is the first phase, second phase, third phase. So first phase, third phase, child frequently vomiting and midday will be fever. So they are more prone to develop dehydration. So in this phase, we should support with fluids. And second phase, critical phase, very, very important phase. Due to the capillary leak, they more prone to develop shock and hemorrhage. So here we can also support with fluids. Then reabsorption phase. So here, the reabsorption of extravascular fluid. So what will happen? Fluid overloading. So we should support fluid, giving the fluid. Then hematocrit. Okay, hematocrit are gradually increasing under critical phase, and platelets are gradually drop followed by increase. Then viral serology, we are going to see the next coming slides. So patient can present any of 3 stages. So good history and timeline is critical to know where this particular child stands for and what to expect next. So this is very, 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 very important. Always clinical history is very, very, very important. Then positive turning good test. There is a method. We should infiltrate the pressure to the point between systolic and diastolic pressure. Usually we should keep for 5 minutes, and we should draw a square the elbow, and we should see after 5 minutes if petechiae spots appears in 10 or more, you can tell us positive tourniquet test. Okay. Lab diagnosis, complete hemogram. We discussed what we expect: increasing hematocrit, leukopenia, and low platelet count. Liver function test. So due to the organ hyperperfusion, it is hepatitis. So the enzymes are elevated. The AST-ALT ratio more than 2 supports severe dengue. Albumin will be low due to extravasation. Then the important thing, serology diagnosis. We should know when the particular test will be useful. So it depends upon the day of illness. We should always advise the particular test. NS1 antigen. Okay. Usually we use rapid kits or ELISA. So this is very, very useful in our early diagnosis. First 5 days. Okay. So sensitivity will be 86%, specificity will be 100%. If NS1 will be negative during the first 5 days, child dengue. Specificity will be 100%. Negative means no dengue. The advantage will be easy to perform. We can get a result in very few hours. Early diagnosis. The early diagnosis always impact on good management. Disadvantage will be we cannot identify the serotype. Also, positive, false positive, the patient is Zika virus infection. Then next will be IgM and IgG antibody detected by ELISA. This test we should be done after 5 days of illness, not before 5 days. IgM is potentially, why? Because Why we are not doing the first 5 days? Because IgM will potentially falls first in the first 5 days. Ig usually present the first 3 days mean we should suspect of secondary infection. Or like typical onset of fever, initially NS1 will be positive, then it's gradually IgM gradually increase, and later only IgG will be. So for acute IgM, for secondary infection usually IgG. So lab diagnosis, other virus culture, we are rarely done here. PCR to detect viral genome, and other investigation, chest X-ray to rule out fluid in the lung, abdomen X-ray to pick up fluid accumulation, ascites, ultrasound. We should do ascites. To pick up ascites, we do. What are the differential diagnoses for dengue fever? So during the febrile stage, leptospirosis, measles, typhoid, malaria. Critical phase, AFI. Surgical causes will be acute abdomen, upper GI bleedings. Based on the timeline, we can differentiate these vectors favoring into dengue. Like we already told, case definition of dengue will be fever plus 2 of the following: rash, pain, leukopenia, vomiting. Here, dengue fever, presented as high fever, rash, retroorbital pain, thrombocytopenia, leukopenia, absence of cough, and absence of sore throat. Treatment, usually supportive management. No specific antiviral therapy available for dengue management. So based on the WHO guidelines, the mainstay of treatment will be maintaining adequate hydration. So supportive therapy, fluid replacement therapy is mainstay of treatment. So early diagnosis and optimal clinical management, we can save most of 100% of dengue infection in children. So early diagnosis and optimal management automatically reduce mortality and mortality. So this is the WHO algorithm for management of dengue, severe dengue. That's a compensated shock and decompensated shock. We are going to see about compensated and decompensated, how to manage. Okay. So what do you mean by compensated shock? The systolic BP should be maintained plus signs of reduced perfusion. You can say it's a compensated shock. So once I will come, we should obtain all the investigations like hematocrit, CBC, blood for cross-matching, renal function test, liver function test, coagulation profile, serum electrolytes, chest X-ray, ultrasound abdomen, blood culture if you suspect sepsis. So first thing you should give secure IV line, ABC, secure IV line immediately, and give isotonic crystalloids. You should give 10 to 20 ml per kg per hour for 1 hour. Here, based on the compensated and decompensated shock, these hours of fluid infusion, how we are rushing it, different changes. Otherwise, most of things are same. So here, 10 to 20 ml per kg fluid we should give over 1 hour. Then we should assess improvement. Whether it's improved, child is improved or not. Yes, child is improved. So we can gradually reduce our IV crystallite 10 ml per kg for first 2 hours, then followed by 7 ml per kg for next 2 hours, then 5 ml per kg next 4 hours, then 3 ml per kg per hour. So depends upon our clinical improvement, we can gradually reduce the fluid according. Okay. So if child is needed bolus, next 24 hours you can give. After 48 hours of therapy, can stop fluid. Child is improved, clinically improved. Stop. Okay. Once we given the isotonic slide for 10 to 20 ml per kg for first 1 hour, no improvement. It's a no improvement. Then what we should do? We should do check hematocrit, whether it's increasing or decreasing. Hematocrit will be a high mean, child going for hemo concentration. Child need more fluids. So we can give second bolus. We can give just like second bolus 10 to 20 ml per kg over next 1 hour. Then we should assess improvement. Check hematocrit. Yes, child is improved. Reduce the 7 ml. Then follow. Gradually reduce the fluid. If no improvement or hematocrit low, when child is not clinically improved, but hematocrit is not improved, what do you think? We should think about. Yes, there is some severe bleeding is there. Mostly, what is the most common site of bleeding in dengue fever? GI bleeding. So, still hematocrit is fall. We can think of bleeding. So yes, and if you think severe, then we can give urgent blood transfusion. No mean we should give colloids. If blood transfusion is no improvement. Clear? So give a fluid, response, child is improved or not. No improvement, do hematocrit. Hematocrit high mean child need more fluid. Hematocrit low mean look for bleeding evidence. Bleeding. If bleeding is there, transmission the blood. These are the management of dengue fever in compensated shock. With uncompensated shock, that means hypotensive shock. Okay, so same thing here. 15 to 20 ml. But we are giving to 15 to 30 minutes. There, 10 to 20 ml we are giving 1 hour. Here, the compensated shock, we can give 10, 15 to 20 ml over 30 minutes. Then same again. Clear? All other things are same. Same. So initial fluid therapy only changes. Okay, the prognosis. The mortality rate for severe dengue is 0.8 to 2.5%. Children are at high risk of severe infection and death. So how to prevent? So prevention is better than cure. What is the important thing? Prevent mosquito breeding grounds by regularly removing of all sorts of stagnant water. Second one, prevent mosquito bites, wearing appropriate cloth, using mosquito repellent, foils, and nets. To prevent bite, infected people are transmitting the infection by. Use mosquito nets, coil out the patient with dengue fever. If any baby child are admitted with dengue fever in our ward, we usually use the nets around the patient. Prevent the transmission for patient. Then 4 will be vector surveillance and control. You can use larvae, fish, and environmental management. Usually, you should remove the mosquito breeding grounds. Then one more thing. Anybody knows? There is a vaccine in dengue. Yeah, there is a vaccine in dengue, tetravalent vaccine. Approved in Mexico in December 2015. The first vaccine license for prevention of dengue. It's a live recombinant vaccine prepared by replacing the protein M1E protein of yellow fever virus with the dengue fever. So approved use of age of 9 to 45 years. Dose will be 0.5 ml. Route will be subcutaneous. 3 dose series. We should give 0, 6, and 12 months. Efficacy should be 6.5, 65.6%. The long-term safety will be up to 3 years. non-constant. So secondary prevention will be recurrent, possible with serotypes. So follow usual primary prevention measures after recovery from the initial infection. Report suspected, probable, and confirmed cases to relevant authorities. Institute appropriate measures to prevent dengue transmission. So 4 years, the anti-dengue campaign. What are the 4 years? Search and destroy. Just say no in discriminating fogging. Self-protection. Seek early treatment. Dengue is a fatal disease. Yes. Don't press the panic button. Can be controlled and treated if handled properly. So keep in mind, do or don'ts. So do work, remove water from the coolers and other small containers at least once in a week. Do not wear the cloths that expose arms and legs. Use mosquito nets or mosquito repellent while sleeping during daytime. So we are coming to the end of our session. So what is the take home messages? What is the important virus? Vector for dengue fever viral infection, Aedes aegypti. So you know what are the warning signs? The pneumonic will be flavi, the capillary leak causing hemoconcentration, low platelet count, important contributing factor for our complication in dengue fever. Diagnosis: first 5 days, NS1 antigen. After 5 days, IgM ELISA. Management: always fluid therapy. Your queries, please. Any queries? Thank you, guys. Thank you.